Hi, everyone. This is Lorna Hennington, and I'm with Tracy Bates from the Bates Hennington Real Estate Group. We have a listing coming up in beautiful Lafayette Square. It's a historic neighborhood in Los Angeles, if you're not familiar with that neighborhood. We're going to give you some details on the property in a moment, and also a little bit of a history lesson on one aspect of the Los Angeles real estate history and the last family who lived in the home. Behind me is the monument to Lafayette Square, and my head's going to disappear a little bit here. Upon entry to the neighborhood, that's what you'll see. And behind Tracy is a picture of the beautiful house we're going to talk about a little bit.
Yeah, we're super excited to talk about this home and to talk about Lafayette Square. This home in particular was built in 1923. And what was commonplace in the 20s in LA were racially restricted covenants, which either specified who could live in or own the property. And they had clauses like Caucasian only, or they listed the racial groups that were specifically barred from the community.
Then during the Great Migration, and just to give you a little, in case you don't know, a little background on what that is, the Great Migration is when African-American migrants moved from the South to the North and the West to find a better way of life. And many came to Los Angeles and became middle-class income earners. And they believed that previously unattainable Southern California lifestyle, that dream that they had, was going to be a little closer to reality. They were skilled workers. They were able to earn incomes. They were able to build wealth and make purchases of property, but for restrictive covenants, as Tracy described earlier, that continue to try to keep the dream from them. These weren't always enacted by government entities, but more they were private contracts between homeowners. They made sure that when homeowners sold their homes, to a Black family, for example, they could be sued for damages by other homeowners in the neighborhood. So these covenants help to keep neighborhoods not very diverse.
Yeah, but undaunted, African Americans of means able to purchase a home in a middle class or upper class community were finding a way to buy. For example, West Adams Heights was one of the premier neighborhoods in Los Angeles. And upwardly mobile Blacks started to buy there and in nearby neighborhoods like Lafayette Square. One of those was Paul Williams, who was also a noted Black architect who designed many of the homes in Lafayette Square.
And Hancock Park and Carthay Circle,
yes,
and LAX, and
the airport.
And the airport, that's right. In 1948, the U.S. Supreme Court finally ruled in Shelby versus Kramer that these covenants weren't enforceable. But it would be 2 more decades until the Fair Housing Act formally outlawed housing discrimination based on race. And even though it took a long time, that ruling was a huge step forward.
It was, but gradually through the 50s, the southern section of LA from Watts and west towards Inglewood and the Crenshaw district became increasingly African American. And during this era, West Adams, Leimert Park, Baldwin Hills gradually became middle class and upper middle class African American areas.
Yeah,
and still are today.
They are, and that, you know, Lafayette Square is historically a neighborhood where Tracy's family resided, and my family, when we came out from Louisiana, we went to Jefferson Park and Baldwin Hills, and so this is really part of our history. Another little interesting thing is with regard to these restrictive covenants is that for years, you know, these covenants are still on title unless you specifically ask for them to be removed. And for years, real estate industry professionals have basically just ignored the racist language of these covenants since they're not enforceable and just acted as if they didn't exist. But if you find one recorded on your property, it is possible to get it expunged. You can do a title search with the county recorder. If you see it there and, you know, if you find it to be an interesting tidbit that you actually want to remain. So, you know, historically you can show, hey, this is how it was, but here I reside there now and I'm one of these people who was specifically indicated couldn't purchase the home. If that's interesting, then that's great. Keep that on title. But if you want to get it off, you can go to the county recorder's office, highlight the offending section to the clerk. They'll have you fill out a form that's called the Restrictive Covenant Modification Form. They've got a whole form for that. You fill it out, you submit it, and they'll expunge that from your title.
Right. But now back to our beautiful listing in Lafayette Square. 1650 South Victoria is the address, and it was designed by noted architect Ernest Irving Fries, who also designed the Wilshire Country Club. And the home was first resided in by a prolific silent film cinematographer, George Hiram Robinson. So
Mm-hmm.
undoubtedly, there will be many stories to tell of the visits by numerous dignitaries, celebrities, and political leaders under the ownership of our clients and one of the first African American postmaster generals of a major metropolitan city, Leslie N. Shaw, who was also appointed by President John F. Kennedy.
Amazing.
Mr. Shaw also has a Los Angeles City Park named in his honor, and they hosted lots of events at their home with many of these political and civic leaders. One of them was his wife, Margaret Ann Shaw. She was an educator and a civic leader, and she was one of the first women and first African Americans to be appointed by California Governor Jerry Brown to serve on the State Commission on Judicial Performance. She was president of the Los Angeles office of the YWCA, and she
Wow.
served on the boards of the Salvation Army and United Way, and was president of the Wilfendale Club of Los Angeles, which is in West Adams and is a Black women's club and a meeting place that was founded in the 40s when Blacks were not permitted to hold weddings and parties in local hotels. And the Wilfendale Club still exists today. She
Mm.
was also on the board of the UCLA School of Medicine, Loyola Law School, and the California Medical Center Foundation. So, she just didn't do anything in LA.
Wow. I mean, it just makes me look like, I should just go back to sleep.
Yeah, we look like slugs.
So, like Tracy said, this Tudor beauty was built in 1923. It's got all the architectural character and charm that you'd expect from a house of that history. You enter through a beautiful carved doorway into the foyer, which gives you a view of the whole entertaining spaces in the house, including the formal living room, formal dining room, a sunroom, a great room. And then nestled towards the back, there is guest quarters, which is comprised of a bedroom, a bathroom, a sitting room. There's another bathroom on that floor, the kitchen, the laundry room, a breakfast area. I mean, it really does have it all.
You could just live on the first floor. Why go
Yeah,
upstairs?
I don't want to go upstairs. It's, forget it. But the house is, even though it's Tudor in the front and in the back, no, a Tudor in the front, it's got all kind of neoclassical details on the interior. There are built-in beautiful bookcases and all kinds of little nooks and crannies that have more of a neoclassical form. Upstairs, there are 4 additional bedrooms and baths. There's a master suite, a junior suite. They each have their own ensuite bathrooms and dressing areas and closets. And there's also 2 additional bedrooms that share a bathroom. The whole house is 3,648 square feet, which is a really big size. Tracy has pointed out to me that it's one of the larger ones in Lafayette Square. There's also a private backyard, which is on a really large lot, 9,000 square feet. So that backyard space is significant. You can really make that an oasis however you want. A swimming in an oasis, a sitting and sunning oasis, you're a gardener, it can be whatever you want it to be. In addition to the beautiful home and grounds, there is a very active neighborhood association, homeowners association in Lafayette Square. They have a lot of great activities. They provide a lot of information, media community and outside. It's really just a great place to be. And as I believe mentioned, it's part of the system of historic preservation overlay zones. Those are intended to protect these architectural jewels in the area so that you don't get a situation where they're tearing down these beautiful buildings that can't ever be reconstructed. And another benefit, it's right in the middle of the city. You're close to the Hancock Park and Larchmont, downtown LA, Hollywood, Culver City. It's really a place where you can create your own LA memories and call this rare opportunity your home. And as Tracy and I would say, we consider it to be beyond the ordinary.
Definitely. So if you want some more information on 1650 Victoria, you can go to the website for it, www.1650victoria, or you can contact us and we'll send you some information as well. Our email address is experts@bateshennington.com. And we are so glad you joined us today. Hope you got a little bit from this history lesson, learned a lot about this fantastic property in Lafayette Square, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.